Yasasoli. First of all, I'd like to apologize for the length of this video. I know it's going to be long. I have many things that I want to say. Second of all, this is off the cuff, so if my ideas tend to ramble, that's because I didn't write anything down. This is just from my mind. But I have to talk about this. We had elections today, and as everyone knows by now, Syriza was the winner. Something to note about this political party. They are a coalition, and not only that, but a coalition of the radical left. If you look them up on Wikipedia, that's what you'll find. So they are at the extreme end of the spectrum. Now granted, I haven't heard of them committing violent acts and whatnot, but for all intents and purposes, we're talking about communists, anarchists, and so on. The problem with communism is, well, there are several of them. The first is economic. On paper, it sounds wonderful. Everyone is equal, everyone is happy, everyone has a house and a job, and no one is hungry. Hey, that's great. Unfortunately, it's also not realistic unless you're a robot. Because robots don't disobey the rules. They do what they are programmed to do, and they don't want anything else. If you program a robot, you will be happy with this, or you will not complain when I give you this food every day. That's what it's going to do. It's going to do exactly what you tell it. People, on the other hand, are different. We all have different needs. And communism takes the good idea of community, of unity, which I always promote, but it takes it to such an extreme that it becomes ridiculous. Now, I am mostly familiar with some of the things that happen in the USSR. I'm not exactly an expert on their history, but I know enough to explain a few things here. Let's start with this idea of equality. Well, what does it really mean to be equal? It means that no one can be above anyone else. So the lazy, dumb person is going to be seen the same way as the hard-working genius. And that applies to salary as well. Either the salary will be very low for everyone or very high for everyone. The result is still the same. If a street cleaner and a doctor make the same amount of money, why would you choose to be a doctor? Because it doesn't matter how much schooling you've had. Of course, you're not going to be prestigious because you're not supposed to be. You're just like everyone else. You're a cog in the machine. And oddly enough, that's what they say to describe capitalism, but it's true. So now everyone has the same salary. No one has an incentive to really do what they love. And they may not even be able to. It may be to the point where you have quotas. Okay, we need 50 new doctors, and that's what you have to be. Or we need 100 firefighters, so I don't care that you want to be a teacher or you want to be work in childcare. Nope, you got to be a firefighter. Is that right? And even if you can choose your own job, and let's just say for the sake of argument that there are different salaries, in pure communism, you can't own anything. So your computer, your house, your car, your clothing, your phone, everything that you own belongs to the government. They provide you with a house. And if you don't like that chair in the corner, tough. That's what you got. If you don't like the way that the house is situated, again, who cares? Because everyone's house is exactly the same. Now, let's turn to two real-world examples from the USSR and discuss centralization. Basically, the way that things were set up there was everything originated from Moscow. So no matter what part of the Union you were in, you had to get everything from there. Now, let's just deal with Russia instead of other countries, okay? Because we're just dealing with Greece here. So let's be fair. If everything is centralized, things are impossible to get. So the first real story involves a woman who wanted a piece for her sewing machine. It was just a little piece to make it work. Well, normally you'd go to the store and buy it, or you'd contact the manufacturer and they can send you one. Well, she had to wait several years for hers because of all the red tape. Pardon the pun, but I'm sure it was quite red. The other story involves boots. And this is a very tragic and sad one. Someone in, I guess, the office where they write all these quotas and things made a terrible mistake. So the companies were forced to make thousands and thousands of boots in this one particular size. It was for little boys. And the stores were forced to carry them. Remember, you cannot choose as a store, hey, I want to have this brand and not that one. You're just given, you need to sell these and that's it. Well, it got to the point where the stores were filled with boots instead of food. And people were starving as a result. So, getting back to Syriza, how far are they willing to go? Do they want that kind of life? And even if they don't, even if they somehow were a little bit less radical, where are they gonna get the money for all of this? Because if you want everyone to have a home and electricity and all of that, you have to provide it for them. And in order to do that, you have to have money. You can't just say, okay, this is your home. And the fact is, right now, we're broke. Now, I completely agree with Tsipras. We need to get out of the Eurozone. I want a return to the drachma. But within reason. Now, the reason why Colonel Makarezos was able to pull off the economic miracle of the revolution of the 21st of April was that he had several things on his side. Now, he was not heavy-handed when it came to the economy like General Metaxas in the 4th of August regime. He just sort of gently guided it. And what he was able to do was to give, first of all, he took the debts that the farmers owed and released them of that so that they can keep their land. He gave them incentives. He also gave incentives to other industries like tourism and shipping and, various things that would help keep the country afloat. And because of the good progress that was made, there were foreign investments in the country. So you had tourism, don't forget at that time we had industry. So we had exports, we had agriculture. The three things that any country needs, or any society, even little tiny nomad societies, the three things you need are food, shelter, and clothing. If you cannot provide that, especially when we're talking about a nation, you're doomed to fail. The problem right now is that we have almost no agriculture and no industry. So if we exit the Eurozone, where are we going to get all this? Now, I'm all for, again, tariffs so that the domestic businesses can thrive. But when you have no businesses, what are you doing? So maybe they will hold off on exiting until we can get on our feet, but it doesn't seem that way. And even if they wanted to, the fact that they were so strongly against staying in means that we won't get this loan. And we've already lost, a lot of the euro itself has gone down more than it has in 11 years. So my whole point is, where are they going with this? What are they going to do to ensure, all right, the propaganda was good, their campaign was good, fine. Now they're in. What are they going to do to ensure that they keep their promises. That is what worries me. And also, all these people who really voted for them, did they really believe in them? Or were they just doing it for the same reason that many people voted for Christiavi? They wanted the main parties out. And again, I agree with Tsipras on that. He's not working with them. He refuses to work with the parties that hurt the country. Good. But, like I said, there are a lot of questions to be answered. And seriously, if someone here can honestly explain this, what their strategy is, go for it. I'm not going to attack you. Remember, I attack the issues, not my opponents. I want to understand this. Because the leftists have always wanted to get in, and now they are. So, let's see what they do. And as for the rest of us, my fellow ethnikophrones, don't give up hope. That's pretty much all I can say. Don't give in to despair. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen, and we will survive. It's hard to believe right now when it seems like we're on the brink of disaster, but we will survive one way or the other. The people will learn, and hopefully good will prevail. Γεια σας.